What's up, Sparkman family? It's your boy Sparkman, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're discussing whether or not it's worth collecting in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? Like, I think a lot of the questions I've been asked in the comment section is, should I get this? Should I get that? Should I, sell this? Do you think this is gonna happen? Do you think I should collect this? And then I've also had questions being like, do you believe Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game worth collecting? And all this fun stuff, right? I've had a lot of questions been asked to me, and I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I saw the trend coming once the QCRs came around and Starlight Rare stopped, that this would happen, where the collector scene was kind of diminishing, right? And we talked about it a lot on the channel for quite a few years now, and I got a lot of hate on the channel, especially when I talked about QCRs being so readily available. And it's okay for a rarity to be readily available to the audience, but don't perceive it as hard to get in one set and then easier to get in another set, because it gets the community very confused whether or not to value it as a high rarity type of card. And I think one thing to note, everyone, is that in the card game world, you obviously want to play the card game, and that's understandable, as you should. However, if you want to collect the high-end cards, to play the high-end cards, it should be seen as a high-end card that is hard to get. And that is the landscape of card games all in all. I look at a game like Star Wars Unlimited that I'm now getting into, and they have all the cards kind of readily available. Really, some of the high-priced cards that are in my deck that I'm making is like $25. But everything is really readily available for the most part as commons, and even the showcases, which is supposed to be like a $200, $300 card, is also in the set as a 10-cent card. Like, so you can get the card as a common, so that way you don't have to buy the high priced card. Whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you can't get the high priced card, well, your shit's out of luck. You gotta pay for 3 Foelios, which was like $100 a piece at one point, and you gotta spend $300 on just 3 cards and then build the rest of the deck, which is, again, probably pricey to begin with. So I think that is where people get kind of disgruntled with Yu-Gi-Oh, is that the way in to play the game is expensive. The meta shifts, ban list happens, things get even more expensive because you have to buy into other cards, and I get all that craziness that tends to happen. But back to collecting. It's very hard to collect in a game also that has bad quality control. And I'm gonna go all over the place here, so we're gonna come back to things. You're gonna see this video is not really, I didn't like really prepare anything. I'm talking because I feel like it needs to be said. I've been asked a lot of questions about this, and I just wanna tell you how I feel. The quality control has been terrible, and we know this for Konami for a long time. The game of Yu-Gi-Oh has been a terrible quality control type of game. The cards are always misprinted in some regard. The secret rare is not the right secret rare. The name is not in the right place. There's the wrong attribute. There's just so many different things that go wrong in Yu-Gi-Oh! And should be picked up by the quality control people, but it's not. So the game is very mismanaged in a lot of different ways. On top of it, the game seems to be in a rut when it comes to collecting, because Konami decided to come back to Starlight Rares, but in the quarter-century secret rare model, which is okay because they saw it work for themselves. However, you have to understand why people are getting really frustrated, because the once known as a high rarity type of card that was worth a lot of money, hard to get, people went out there and spent $800s or hundreds of dollars on these cards, are now valued below $100. And you could see why people are upset, because they bought into something thinking they're paying for something worth the price tag. And it's obviously upsetting to those people. And I think if you were one of those people, right, and I'm speaking to those that are budget players that don't buy those cards, but if you were to buy those cards, if you were to go ahead and buy an $800 card, you saved up money, you decided, let me buy this Starlight Rare. And a few years later, they reprinted as a QCR, something very mirroring the rarity, and now it's a $40 card. I think you would be kind of annoyed too. You'd be kind of upset because you spent all this money on this card and now it's valued this low. So this is where the collecting scene has taken a hit, and a lot of people have been very angry, and understandably so. I would be angry too. I bought into a lot of cards as Starlight Rares as well. However, at the end of the day, I'm not reselling these cards. They're in my collection. It just sucks that I could have bought them for lower, for sure. I think anybody would be upset about that. But the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is definitely not worth collecting, everybody. It's not worth collecting. Especially in this landscape where Konami has mistreated the collecting market here. They've mistreated its players in that aspect. And a huge part of this game is based on collecting this card game. Not just playing, but collecting. People love collecting shiny cards and all these different things, and people love collecting high rarity cards. You take away that aspect of people wanting to go out there and invest in cards, you take away a little bit of the aspect of the game in that regard. We talk about why other games succeed, and I know we talk about a lot on this channel where we talk about Pokemon, all these other games too, and they succeed because they know to respect certain markets. They respect their, playing the game market, the high profile card market, which is like those Umbreon cards, Sumbreon, whatever you want to call them, all those cards, and then they value their mid-level cards as well, those that want those mid-level cards. They know how to appeal to those markets and sell to those markets. Though at times people get angry with all the shoving and pushing and Costco and all these things, sure, they know how to sell their game. Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel as though struggles to sell their games at times, though it does really well on a quarter-to-quarter stand basis when you look at the marketing in terms of the sales. But you're losing a lot of players as well, and though you might see a return on profits here and there, you're not gaining anyone joining the game. And that was really the missing piece for Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout these past few years, is who's joining the game? And is the game really worth joining with the amount of things you have to learn to get entry into the game, the amount of money you have to spend into the game before ban list hits, and whether or not the card is really worth investing into before it dips and another card takes its place with another set. So there is a lot of aspects into this game where a lot needs to be said. I'm just very, very confused, I guess, because I myself don't know what the hell Konami is doing with the actual game itself. I feel very in a wayward way because I knew this was coming. I knew Starlight Rares were coming back. I had a feeling they were going to be in the QCR ratio type of thing they were going to do. I just knew it. Even like a year ago, I was like, this is going to happen. And I did call it on the channel for a long, long time now. It's just not worth collecting Yu-Gi-Oh, man. It's not. I had someone come up to me last week, and they said, "Hey, I'm trying to get into Yu-Gi-Oh. What do you think I should collect?" And I said nothing. I literally said nothing. And I just remember saying that, and I think to myself, I'm like, damn, I have to remember that too. Because there's a lot of times where I'll go out there on TCG Player and start buying stuff. But it's not to the point where I really want to buy stuff anymore, considering what has happened. I think a lot of people can agree because of what they've seen. A lot of people are going to get very angry as well for those that bought into the QCR market now. All those QCRs becoming Starlight Rares. It's going to happen, everybody. It's going to happen. Obviously, the last QCR stint is going to be in this one, Alliance Insight, right? Last call for Core Entry Seeker Rares. So this is going to be your last opportunity to get QCRs before we get Starlight Rares back in Battles of Legend, Monster Mayhem. Obviously, it will be in future sets like Duelist Advance as well, copycatting a lot of what we've seen in past QCR sets where 24 of these will be Starlight Rares and one special card is only like Starlight Rare. So basically 25 cards Starlight Rare, and then your Magia, for example, would have been your one Starlight Rare, which, they could reprint Magia as a Starlight Rare. We've been talking about it. It probably will happen. Maybe even in this. Maybe Magia can show up as a Starlight Rare in the Megatins. Who knows? Anything can happen. It would be a really wild thing to do, but I wouldn't put it past them, especially since they're trying to sell these products and they're going to take every advantage they can to sell to their market for those that want certain cards in certain rarities. Someone asked me recently about the tins and if they're going to put these cards they see on the tins into the packs, and honestly, I'm going to say more or less, yeah. You're probably going to see a lot of these cards in the tins that you see on the actual tin itself. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. They're probably going to be Starlight Rares, and I think someone said there is a card that's already a Starlight Rare. Could they put it as Starlight Rare in the tins? Yeah, they can. They can probably do it as an alternate artwork, but they definitely could, 100%. They're definitely going to try to be very smart and play around with what they can. But Konami knows what they're doing. They're always going to play on the alternate artworks now to try to sell more. So if they see a card doing well in a certain rarity, they're going to try and make it an alternate artwork so that way you can sell even more of it. Yeah. We've seen it, right? With all these alternate artwork Dark Magician cards, Dark Magician Girl. They're gonna try to they're really gonna try to get everything they can for these certain rarities. And it sucks to say that they've taken advantage. But they've taken advantage of the community. I'm not happy with Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll be honest with you. I've been very, very unhappy with where I'm seeing the game being taken. And more or less this is why I'm playing a different card game right now. And it's not that I don't have love for Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually have a lot of love for Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been in this game for a long time. I've collected a long time. I've played the game for a long time. I still make decks. I still play for fun. But it's not fun of what they're doing with the game, how they're treating their community, their players. You know, we talked about pricing, we talked about all these things. It just seems like a mess, everybody. I think we can all agree it just seems like a mess. They don't have any clue of what they're doing. They're just throwing a product at us, and they're like, here, buy it. We know you're already going to play the game, so just buy it. Right? Oh, here's the next new archetype. Here's the next best thing. Just buy it. And it's like, do I want to buy it? Do I want to play the game? Is it worth playing the game? There's a lot of these things that people are starting to question. And it's good questions to ask, because if they're not really caring about their audience, why should you care about the game? I don't know, everybody. I don't know. It's a very weird position Konami and Yu-Gi-Oh! Has put us in. And it's a lot of why we're seeing people play older formats and run to those formats. And that's why we're seeing Konami reprint stuff like what we've seen in Stampede, especially because a lot of people are playing older formats, so they appeal to that audience. Their marketing has been a little smart in certain ways, where they're trying to appeal to what people are going after, in terms of Edison, Hat, Goat, all these formats that people are playing. They're gonna print cards towards those, so they can reuse those cards and reuse these rarities over and over again. So they're smart in that regard, but don't be tricked, right, everybody? Because don't pay for these high-priced QCRs when you're probably going to see them as Starlight Rares very, very soon, probably in a Rarity Collection 5. Yeah, man. And you know where it goes from there from a Rarity Collection 5. You probably have Rarity Collection 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with Starlight Rares. So don't be mistaken. And then they'll probably come with a new rarity that looks exactly like a Starlight Rare in a QCR, right? The 30th anniversary. We talked about it. They're probably going to keep on playing on the factory. You know, Japan had the 20th anniversary. Yeah, the 20th anniversary. They're probably going to have 30th anniversary. Over here, it's probably going to have the 30th anniversary. Just don't be too surprised about it happening. And now with these emblems, they're going to reprint all these cards with different emblems. They're going to, again, they're just playing on reprinting and reprinting and reprinting and reprinting and reprinting these cards over and over in different things to just play on the community. You know, we see a lot of things being reprinted. Older boxes being reprinted like LOB, Magic Ruler, or should I say Spell Ruler, Invasion of Chaos. You know, we have Live Destruction, the Retro Pack. All these things they decided to reprint back to us. And that's why also collecting older stuff has become a little bit of a panic because do you want to keep those collector stuff? Are they going to reprint those collector stuff? Are they going to reprint the tins from back in the day? Are they going to reprint booster boxes from the 5Ds GX original DM era? Are they going to do those things? And honestly, that's why it's become a little bit more or less, it's being scared to buy these things, because it almost seems like they're willing to take the risk and do it just so people can go back and relive their childhood with it, which is great, which is, that is amazing. I love that. I love that they're willing to go back and allow us to relive our childhood, but they're not doing it in a respectable way where if you're going to release something, release it, but make it different. Make it different. Don't make it the same thing, because you really hurt a fan base all in all by doing that. It's not a terrible idea to reprint stuff, just do it respectively. And I think one thing that Konami has lost with a lot of its fans, and maybe you can correct me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just like not in it, but I feel like the respect is not there. I feel like the community does not respect Konami as it should. We see so many other card games doing so well for itself, entering the scene and just right off the bat, just, you got it, yes, doing well, this is that. Like it just seems they're performing at such a high rate where we're just like leveled out. We're just right here. We're not moving anywhere. We can't get any better than this, so let's just stay right here. If anything, we're going to keep getting worse, but worse by little. And yeah, that's where I am with collecting Yu-Gi-Oh, everybody. I'm fed up. I am annoyed. I've given up. I don't see a way into the collector market anymore. I don't see myself collecting current format stuff at all. QCR Star Rares, anything. Don't see it happening. I don't even care if there's a Ghost Rare or Ultimate Rare. It's not worth collecting in Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2025. It's nice to have. If it's cheap and affordable, you'll see me buying it. But I ain't buying anything worth $100 plus for it to be reprinted again in the same rarity or something close to it, and then it dropping the price again on the card I paid a lot of money for. I just can't do it anymore. Just not happening. If you're willing to lose a lot of money, join Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what I'll tell you. If you want to lose money, this is the game for you. But not me, man. I can't do this anymore. I can't be playing a game where I'm just losing money. And not to say I'm quitting, by the way. I just want to make sure everyone understands this. I'm not quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just not collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just not paying insane amounts of money for cards, meta cards even. It's not happening anymore. The current landscape of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is too difficult. It's just too difficult. And they made it difficult. They didn't have to make it difficult. They made it difficult. But yeah, I want to know your comments, your thoughts, your opinions. Always love to hear from everybody. But that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at currently with the game. But from your truly, Sparkman, we'll catch you next one. Please subscribe and comment, and peace out, YouTube.